and welcome to the final interview with our Coopers for this year. My name is Hamish Black, and I'm really excited to be joined by Dominique Moreau from the Foudrerie, which is responsible for the production of our last cask, which is located at Brive. Bonjour, Dominique.
Bonjour, Hamish.
Are you well?
I'm well, thank you. And I hope the same for you.
Yes, no, we're very good. We're coming into our summer, whereas you're coming into your winter, so we're happy.
Yes.
Dominique, well, thanks for joining me today. Let's start with the first question that everyone would really like to know back in Australia is, how are you surviving COVID, and how is the cooperage, and has the production been affected by the events?
Yes. So first, thank you for the invitation, and I'm very pleased to answer you and to give some news from the Foudrerie and from Brive. So all the Foudrerie is well, all the team is well. So it's the first good news with this very particular year.
Dominique, I mean, that brings me to my next question is, the cask is becoming more popular in Australia, as you can tell by the many orders we send you. What have you seen from a global point of view? What major changes for the use of the actual cask have you seen in different countries?
Yes, it's a tendency. In fact, historically, large container, cask, and vats were used more for technical aspect, because it was used in the south of France, for example, with grape variety, very sensible from oxidation, etc.
Yep.
And it was more on an enological aspect. Of course, the cask gives some cost effective for the wine grower, because of the volume, because less work than for barrels, for example. So historically, it was interesting for this.
Yeah.
And now we assist to a new tendency, because consumers want to have wines with less wood, more easy to drink, faster to drink, more on the fruit, and with less wood. So the large container can can answer this demand, and it's why we assist to the development of this type of product.
Do you see that most people that are purchasing the cask or the vats, are they primarily for red or for white? Are you seeing a more movement towards white varieties like Chardonnay or not?
In fact, for the white, we assist to an increasing of the demand,
Yes.
especially in Champagne and in Burgundy, for the same aspect, because we have a new generation of consumer, a new generation of winemaker. We want to apport more roundness, more structure, but
Yes.
not too much, and something different.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. And just while we're on the topic of why people are using them, obviously the first point of difference is the size of the cask, and then the second aspect is the actual the wood itself. And what I'd like to ask you is that traditionally a barrique for export would only be 27 mil thick, whereas for the cask we know it's 54 mil thick. Is that wood difficult to source, and what procedure do you go through with that, Dominic?
Yes, as you know, we don't use the same thickness of wood, because we have 3 different thickness. The most popular is 54 millimeters, but we use also 55 and 80 millimeters. for very big cask, and it's more and more difficult to source it because there is a lot of demand for the wine industry and for other industries. So there is a big competition on the purchase, and it's difficult to have the schedule in our head, because the 54 millimeters will dry during 3-4 years minimum, and the 80 millimeters can dry until 6, 7 to 10 years.
It's a big difference.
We need to plan a very in a very long term our purchase. So it's why it's difficult.
Is when you actually select the tree for the wood, is there any difference between selecting a tree for barrique and selecting a tree for a cask?
This is not the same wood, because for the barrique, we need a very tight grain to give more aromas and more structure for the wine. But for the large container, we don't research this tight grain. We are more on medium grain, and this is not the same forest. This is the same origin in general, but this is not the same forest, because forest for Merin is very particular, and the demand is very, very high. So we can't source in the same forest.
And from obviously with the TFF group, one of our luxuries is that we do have a good supply of wood. Would that be fair to say?
In fact, for the Foudrerie, we have the support of the TFF group, of course, but our purchases are independent because very specific. So it's our team who visit our different partners to select the wood.
Okay. Dominique, just the last couple of questions for you. Obviously, the first, we're getting more and more new customers for the cask in Australia. What's your recommendation in their preparation for the cask for their first use?
For the first use, the first thing when you receive your cask in the winery is to check if everything is okay, if the cask have well traveled, and after you have checked it, the best thing to do is to ensure that the conditions are good to stock the cask. Like 4 barrels, we need a good hygrometry conditions, good temperature conditions, without air, and when you have these conditions, you can prepare your cask. Even we have tested all the cask in brief and in our workshop. It's preferable to add water before to add wine in the cask.
So you always water test them first in the cooperage before they leave. They're water tested.
Yes. Every cask, every tanks, every product is tested in the Foudrerie.
Yep.
To check the volume and to check if there is no leaks.
Perfect. So once they're in the winery, you recommend to go through that process again?
So yes, once in the winery, we recommend to add 15-20 centimeters of, if possible, hot water. So you spray hot water all around in the inside of the cask, and you maintain 15-20 centimeters at the bottom of the cask, and you wait, for example, 1 night. And if there is no leaks, if everything is okay, you can fill the cask in 2 or 3 days. Take time, because wood take time. So it's a security for the future.
Fantastic. So once you've used your cask, what is your recommendation for maintenance? How to look after?
So for the maintain of the cask, it's very simple. It's like for a barrel, but you need to separate the two steps. The first one is the cleaning, and the second one is the disinfection. For the cleaning, you can use hot water or maybe cold water, depending on what you have.
Yep.
But you can use high pressure, but not too high. I think 70 bars is enough.
Yep.
Because after you can occur some problem on the wood. So it's preferable to use low high pressure, if I can say.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Would you be fair to say that you would recommend to use steam? And for example, the barrel clean?
The steam can arrive for the disinfection, not for the cleaning. So the steam will arrive after. So because it's preferable to disinfect a cask, a clean cask. It's preferred, like in your house, like in the winery. Every time we clean and after we disinfect. So we can use steam. We recommend approximately 2 to 3 minutes per hectoliters of capacity. Not more, because after you can have some problem on the wood structure. So
that's very important.
Yes. And after, the most important is to dry the cask and to add some SO2 after to control it.
And for actually drying the cask, what do you recommend to do that? Is it just as simply as opening the door, letting nature do its course, or what do you advise?
I think you need to keep the cask open, the frontal door and the top of the bung open. And if you have it, you can use a little machine, a little ventilator, to facilitate the drying. You will earn some days, and sometimes it can be very important.
And tell me, Dominic, just one more question for you. If you wanted to leave your cask empty for a period of time, what is your recommendation?
I think the best thing is to check if the cask is well cleaned, well disinfected, and after you can keep under SO2 and control every month the SO2 level in the cask or in the tank. And before to reuse the cask, to fill in water, to check for the leaks, of course, but to get out the SO2.
Dominic, I really appreciate your time tonight. It's been very informative. And on that note, I wish you a very Merry Christmas, and we look forward to seeing you in Australia next year. Thank you, Dominic.
I hope so. Thank you very much, and say hello to the team and to your partners.
Thank you, Dominic.
Thank you. Thank you.